All right. So I know you're a very busy man.
No, not really. This week is quite relaxed.
Yeah, okay.
At
you're
home,
relaxed.
I'm busy. Here, I'm as relaxed as it can be.
Good. Well, like you just said, you're in one of the most relaxing, beautiful places, Bustleton.
It is. I agree.
But I do want to get straight into the main points
Yes,
with you today, so
yes.
don't waste too much of your time, so you can get back to relaxing. I do want to talk to you a little bit about mindset.
Yes.
So obviously our minds are, the main thing is to keep us safe and stop us from doing things that we shouldn't do that puts us in danger. But doing something like the Ironman and taking yourself to the next level, you have to push yourself incredibly hard at points. You're going to have to override what your mind is telling you.
I think there needs to be like a strong relationship of body and mind. So I always try not to overrun one of them. So I try to have like the Japanese or wherever they from would say yin and yang, and like this is what I try to live a little bit. But of course, Ironman racing is not like, it's not a real health advice, and you really need to like push your limits. But still there needs to be like a balance. But I ever since I'm a young kid, I like the challenges, and I like to like push my personal best and like to overcome these moments. And so for me, I try to keep the low points as little as possible, which is in your own hand, with like following the right nutrition, doing the right pacing. So whenever you're seriously suffering, that's mostly because you made any sort of failure.
So you didn't fuel properly, or you
or in the lead up you did like major failures, and obviously with the experience and the years, the failures getting less and less. I mean, I'm still of course doing them. I'm human, but I just, when you reduce the failures, then you have less low points, and so then it's good to deal with it. But the run really hurts. Like when you go hard on a marathon off the bike. Sorry for my hand, the flies.
No, you're right. I've been doing
that. So if you go really hard on a marathon off the bike, you really need to go to a big amount of pain. But I saw both births of my sons, obviously, and I saw how my wife dealt with it and like went through it, and
that's, you've used her as inspiration.
Because like I think every mother goes to several Ironman when giving birth, and I think racing Ironman is self-chosen, so I would not complain about having some sort of pain.
The best analogy I've heard.
Like,
I have done an interview before with a boxer, female boxer, and she said that the women that have given birth do tend to be the most fierce.
Yeah, probably. I mean, obviously I never gave birth, but but like my life recently with losing one of my sons in an accident brought some major challenges, obviously. And for me, it's like for me, giving up it feels like a betrayal on my lost son Henry, because like he really fought to survive and he couldn't, and so I think I'm not faint-hearted. I'm quite hard. Like I broke my fibula in a crash in a race 2 years ago, and I still finished it and also won it. It was also Ironman distance, so I think I can be very strict with myself, but I learned to balance it a bit, because being too strict eats you up. So meanwhile, I also learned to grant myself, if there is something really wrong, better stop it, rather than, because pulling through this one Ironman with a broken fibula really costed me literally a year. Like it took ages to because I heard all the tendons surrounding and all this, so it took ages. So I kind of learned to also, as I said before, I try to balance it out and push it hard, but like train hard, recover harder, and that's a major fact.
So if you're faced with something like that again, in terms of that injury, would you push through it this time, knowing what you know?
No, I had it actually this year in September. I had like a partly ruptured tendon in my knee, and I won a race, and I wasn't really, I was in holiday mode. I had too many drinks, and I really enjoyed it, like having the summer a little bit off, and then I went back to racing too early, and it already felt wrong to register.
Yeah.
And so within the race, after 10K on the bike, it was Ironman Wales. Yeah, I just felt like, that's the most stupid thing you done this year. And I thought, well, I like to end the season in shape and with like a good memory and with like being healthy and fit. And that's why I decided, which I normally don't do, well, I stop it here in Wales, and then I finally recovered my tendon, and then I had a really nice and strong build up, healthy, fit, no issues leading up to Busselton. So,
do you feel a need to have to kind of always explain that when you make your decisions, or are you very much like, do it what you need to do for you?
I mean, for me, I think I'm in 9th or 10th year now fully professional, so I make my living and the living for my family out of sport. So of course my decisions sometimes depending on sponsor needs or requirements, or so I'm not like an age grouper, so I can't always make the decisions my own in a way. Mm-hmm. So it's like, of course, certain partners demand certain countries I race in, or certain races if they sponsor them. So as a professional, it's sometimes, you need to also there find the balance in between the economical side and the best performance.
Yeah, challenging.
Yeah, but it's not like, I did proper jobs before in my life. Like I had a rough path to go in my youth when I grew up, and I always had to work like seriously tough jobs. Like I worked as a landscape gardener and all these things. So when you did this, when you woke up at 6 in the morning and then dealing with big stones and trees at -1 in Germany, then you really appreciate the lifestyle of being a professional athlete, and that helps me. So I know what life normally looks like, and I try to achieve this lifestyle as long as I can. Like I'm 34 now, and my aim and my dream is to do it until I'm 39 or 40, because I know that then there will still be 25 normal working years, and they can look ugly by time. So I know that, and I try to keep it balanced and fit as long as I can.
Nice. Now, you did just mention about your son.
Yeah.
I don't want to sort of go into that too much because it's quite personal.
Yeah,
but I was just wondering, like, how much is family, like your whole family, the driving force for you when you are in the race? Yeah.
Everything.
Are they always in your mind? Are they always with you during the race?
Always, yeah. My own family, my 2 sons and my wife, that's everything for me. That's I would. Like, I'm totally stepping back on personal things. That's also why I prepared for this race. It wasn't like hang loose, I could have, from my professional side, I could have arrived here 6 weeks earlier and taking it easy. But I know that when I'm away, my wife wakes up half an hour earlier to go for a walk with our dog too. And then she drops Theo at the nursery, even with the bike in winter, to give him some sort of movement too. Mm-hmm. So I know that every day I'm away, it's much harder for my family. So then I swallow the bitter pill, and I do hours turbo sessions next to the heating van, and I do all these things which are of course not as nice as just riding at 30 degrees. But now for my family, I go beyond every limit, and if my sport would ever harm my family, I would, or any job, I would stop it without any regret.
Yeah.
So that's not like, for me, that's above everything.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, most families have trouble just balancing life as it is, let alone you now being a professional.
Yeah, but also everyone has a professional and a profession, and like at the end, my job is quite, even I think quite good for my family, because I'm the only dad normally who can drop and pick up kids at the nursery. So I'm always there with the women. Yeah. And so I know many normal working dads who maybe give their kids a a good night read or not even see them in the evening, and that's not the case for me. So that's why I appreciate my job as a triathlon professional. So I train roughly 20 to 30 hours, and maybe there are 10 or 20 hours for like sponsor obligations, marketing, whatever. But this still is flexible, and I can train in the early hours or if required in the late hours, so I can make space for my family whenever is needed.
Yeah. Sounds like you've got really good balance.
Yeah, I think so. That's what my wife said.
If she's happy, it's all that matters.
I think as happy as she can be, she is probably, yeah.
So let's move over to something a little bit different. There's a lot of talk at the moment around gut health and how it impacts wellness and energy levels. Do you do anything around gut health or other holistic treatments, I suppose, for your performance?
I'm really open for that. So I do a lot of homeopathics before I take something real in terms of medicine. So if I have an inflammation, I rather take arnica or something than start with the ibuprofen. In generally, I just try to fuel myself right in a way that kind of I eat healthy and not much processed food. But I've found out from me personally that whenever I go into an extreme, like trying to stay away from carbs or whatever, that this really brings me out of the balance. Because if you do endurance sport, you need a certain, I mean, it doesn't matter how you look at the start line. For me, it matters how I perform. And if I look like a bodybuilder, but I'm just not moving. Not moving. That's not ideal for myself. So
you don't follow anything like keto or paleo or plant-based?
No.
It's pretty straight.
No, I don't. I mean, like my wife is plant-based ever since. She just don't like meat, so once in a while she has a bit of salmon or whatever. But so if I buy meat, I have to do it for myself and my son. So I don't think it's not. If I see I'm staying here now with the age group and with a local resident in Basselton, when I see how much like meat they eat like on a daily basis. That's not how I have it at home. I would say I have meat 2 to 3 times a week, and I more have fish or chicken. I rarely have beef. I never eat pork.
Just because of like...
Because of, I heard, like I have a really good orthopedic who is a friend of mine, and he says that it makes there is something inside, whatever, because the way they grow them and they are full with medicine, and he says it destroys the ankles and makes weakens the tendons. He says that most of the people suffering big tendon problems is because they have too much meat, especially pork. So I try to stay away from this, and also porks are meant to be as intelligent like a dolphin, and in Germany they are not grown on a grass field. They grew up on 1 square meter, a mother with like the whole bunch of kids. So I really don't feel like
so from an ethical point of view,
it is also, but often the ethical point of view comes into place with my nutrition. So I rather buy a German apple at home at a normal supermarket than going for the New Zealand apple in the ecological supermarket, which is blamed to be ecological, while it can't be organic and stuff. But
it's flown across the world.
Or shipped around the world. So I just try to keep it simple and follow logical routines. My family are farmers originally, and I grew up with like basic and good core values and not make it too complicated. And I see the generation now is sometimes not overseeing the whole thing and going into too much detail with unnecessary things.
Probably with the whole influencing
that's
social media.
That's I think it's hard to stay on your own path if you are influenced, however.
That's one of the big things that we're trying to do. We're at the pharmacy that I'm at, we are trying to help people look at things from, evidence-based and not
really
get too
good.
sucked into...
Yeah, that's really good.
But then listening to what they want as well, if you choose plant-based, great, we support you for plant-based, but then we just make sure...
Yeah, but if, some people probably can handle it. Like my wife, she has a good blood, red blood screen all the time, with mostly being on plants. When I tried it, I just had a blood screen like a 94-old male 2 days prior passing away. Like, when you're walking around like a zombie, well, I'm vegan. It's like probably the amount of workload I put to my body is just not, you can't compensate it with vegetables. And also, like, of course, in a legal way, I'm always interested, as every athlete is, in like performance enhancement. And if I know that, for example, soy products are very bad for the testosterone level, all these meat replacements, most of them are like soy-based or tofu, or even if you like chickpeas, are very high in estrogen. And all these things are lowering my performance. So I think... Maybe once when I start professional sport, then I would probably more go to a ketone diet, just because you can achieve like a good basic fitness, and you're not you're not gaining weight, even if you're not exercising a lot. But for endurance sport, you just need carbs. But I try to have them from, like, in a daily routine, more from fruits or potatoes or rice, which is grown, less from pasta. But if I'm leading up to a race, for example, I know that just a simple white wheat pasta is the best for me, and then I'm not making it complicated. Easier
to break down.
It is
quick energy.
Yeah, that's it. So in normal training week, I have a whole grain bread, but if leading up to a race, I have a white bread with honey, and I have pasta maybe with a bit of pesto. And I know that maybe my race week is not the most healthy week, but if I'm in a race week, then for me it's about performance.
Yeah, just achieving what you need, what it needs to do, basically. Exactly. What took you, or what were some of the key things that took you from being like a rookie, I suppose, to being a pro?
I kind of ever since did sport in a way of on an elite level. Like after my parents divorced, I literally read the book of Lance Armstrong, how he dealt with the divorcement of his parents. Obviously, he did some cycling, triathlon as well, and I was very motivated by the book, and I signed up at the gym, and I just started to work out as hard as I could. So I did. I was in the national team mountain bike in juniors, and then from there I went on with road cycling, duathlon, and finally ended up at triathlon. And it was always really performance driven. And I literally skipped the age group ranks. So they were my first long distance, one of the famous ones in the world, in Ross in Germany. That was together with the same year Ironman Zurich, the next year I did 2 age group races, and then I switched to elite levels. So
how much do you reckon was natural talent, and how much was hard work and determination?
I think most of it is hard work and determination and the consistency over years. There are some people, they rock up, then they have a result 1 year, but then they are burned. And to really make a major step and to keep it, to keep in the business, you just need to be consistency in training and racing over years. And I think therefore the mindset and other talents count. The talent that you're not you need to be a bit more, as I said, not a faint-hearted. If you are injured after every run, it doesn't matter if it was a quick one and you're a talented runner, but then you won't make it anyway. So I think there is a general talent for me in movement, but look, we don't have to drive handstanded into the transition area or something. So it's not, or a backflip in the run is not required. So I think in endurance sport, always the hardest worker gets, or the most cleverest worker. It's not strategic. It's not about ticking boxes and clocking stupid hours. it is to really like go beyond the limit. Like you can either ride 6 hours junk miling in a group of 10 and take it relatively easy, and you are really proud about the kilometers, or you do 2 hours on your own, like with proper efforts, or you do them like fast. This is really, really painful, but these sessions bring you further. So it's not about how many hours you train, it's about how the hours look like.
So do you study other athletes then prior to? Is that a silly question? Is that sort of something people do? Because for boxing, for instance, I use this all the time because that's what I love to watch. But, you're always studying your opponent. It's something
no,
like...
I'm not.
You're not? Because I know it's a solo thing, but...
Yeah, I totally keep out of the triathlon scene normally.
Okay.
Like I have some professional friends over the years where you race with and they're good guys and you can trust them, and or if you need something at the race or they need something, then they in Germany or Europe they show up at my motorhome, or if I need something I go to them. So they are over the decades some good friendships, but generally I found out, that's why I try to stay away from social media as much as I can. I found out that I need to make a plan. I have a small team of people I trust and they are all great in their trade. And if I set the plan for the goal, I follow it and I'm not looking left or right. And if like for someone else, something can be good, but it's not good for me, and the other way around. So of course I always had and still have people who kind of inspire me, but they don't need to be automatically out of triathlon. So I'm more motivated by some cyclists, like the Australian Rowan Dennis. He's kind of motivating me, or there are some runners when I see them running. I rather watch Eliud Kipchoge before I go to a track set. I would rather watch him running than watching a competitor, because compared to runners, we are all running crap. So I always try to motivate with the people who have the best knowledge in the discipline, and the triathlete never has the best knowledge in the discipline.
Yeah, okay.
We are like
a jack of all trades.
A jack of all trades, exactly.
I nearly got that wrong. How much of a difference did it make having the right team around you and having the right coach?
I'm coaching myself.
Really?
So I do have the right coach. Yeah. And
do you really?
I do. Yeah, my most successful years I coached myself.
Why?
Because I grew up with sports, as I said, and I met really, really good people and coaches, and I worked with really, really famous coaches for many years. But I always tried to learn, to understand what we're doing, and I always ask. And one of them was Jürgen Zeck for more than 6 years, and he like a multiple Ironman winner, and he like one of the top 3 in a whole decade. And after a while, we started that I kind of planned my training, and he looked over it. On a certain point, he said, "I'm honest with you, but you even giving me ideas sometimes. So I'm, you are good to go if you feel confident." And so ever since, and he's one of them, I have some people when there might be like a question, because every time it's something a bit different, you need to adapt to situations. And when a situation brings me to a point where I don't really believe in my plan anymore, or I need to do changes, then I have like good people to ask what might be the better option. Or also if I have an idea, I always ask someone, but always first and last is my wife. Okay. She lives with me and she sees it, and she knows me the best in the world. And so if I feel that there might be something wrong, or if I have an idea, I always get it checked by my wife, because she's really like down to earth and realistic, and she would tell me and she even did, like before, out of a summer holiday, I kind of decided, let's go to Ironman Wales, even totally unprepared. She said before, let's have holidays in Wales, but leave the bike at home. And normally she's right. like most of the girls.
Is she going to listen to this?
Yeah.
She's right.
She's right.
So the last question that I've got is, how do you, what motivates you more, the wins or the losses? And I suppose you're not really ever losing as such.
No, but that's, probably the disappointments.
Yeah.
Because I was always, I'm honest, if you like, I became second 6 time in Ironman races, and meanwhile I won 6 time. So after becoming second 5 time, I had 5 victories, and I'm honest, last year after these 5 victories, becoming second again feels like a
big crap.
Like a down step. And I'm not like a triathlon fan. Like, here is different. I'm honest, in Busselton, that was my aim, to end the season just with a solid shape, with a proper result. If I have in this Stella, I heard it's like a world champion field. If I have a proper top 10 result here, and I have a fast time, I'm happy with the day, and I'm really thankful to my sponsors who made it happen. So for me, there is no risk here, and for me it was important to start fit into the winter in a way that, like, now is Christmas in Germany and it's hard to stay away from the cookies, and having December off is fine. If you had a good shape beginning of December, you won't be as unfit in general as if I would have skipped in September. But generally you are right. Whenever I prepared for a race to win it and it didn't happen, or I made failure, you like a victory, even in a victory there can be major failures, but normally you're not analyzing a victory, because that's the Olymp, that's the top of it. But the deeper you fall, the harder, well, that's what I do, the harder I analyze it, and the harder I work to overcome these weaknesses.
Okay.
So,
well, we look forward to seeing you out there on Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for chatting with us.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
Will it be a video too?
I just did some videos like.
Because I like the flies.
Flies, I know.
Yeah, but
maybe.
No, but they just staying with the stinky people. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
I just hate the flies. They're like, I'm recording and they're like here. I can't move.
I saw one guy at the beach, like a bit